Hello and welcome to Gapeys Grow Room. It's been 2 weeks since the last update and a lot has changed since then. We got a new light for the grow room and I did an unboxing video of that last week if you missed it. It's a Spider Farmer SF1000 and I've got it up and running and I'll show you that in a bit. And I got all my seeds started that I wanted to in February and almost everything is germinated. So we'll take a look and see how everything is doing. Let's start the tour by taking a look at our fig bin. So we've got all of our fig cuttings started for the season. I've got a total of 8 varieties and we've got, I believe, 4 or 5 varieties in here right now. I have moved some of them out that started to leaf out, which I'll show you in a little bit. But we've got this one here starting to leaf out and some of these others are just starting, so we'll be moving those under lights soon. So as soon as I see those leaves come out, I move them under the lights, whether they have roots or not. So this one here is one of the first ones that I started. This is the Campaniere, and it was actually the first one to get roots. You can see all those roots, but the leaves have not come out yet, but they are just starting to. So once the leaves completely unfold from these nodes, I'll move that under the lights. But all these others were started a little bit later, so none of these other ones have any roots yet. So these are all doing really good. They are starting to get some nodes that are swelling. So I think these will get roots sooner or later. Here's the rest of our fig cuttings here under the LED light. Now these are the ones that have leaves that have actually unfolded and ready for light. So that's what you want to see before you move them under lights. And surprisingly, not all of these actually have roots. So this one here is the Brown Sugar Crunch, and we've got some nice looking roots on there, not as many as the one in the fig bin, but it is looking pretty good. And then this one is the Red Lebanese Baca Valley, and this one just started showing roots just in the last couple of days, but we've got nice big leaf growth there. And then this last one here is the Improved Celeste, and this one really doesn't have any roots showing at all yet. So you really need to look at the leaf growth to determine when to put it under the lights, regardless of whether it has roots or not. So this is the Spider Farmer SF1000, and I've got it set to about 16 inches above the top of the cuttings. And I use my light meter to determine what strength to put it at. So right now it's at, let's see if you can see that, it's at 60%, and that is enough strength to give these 300 par of light, and that's about where you want it. So that is perfect for these guys, and I think they're going to do great under this light. And we still have plenty of room for more figs, so as more of the figs start leafing out, I'll move them under the light as well, and hopefully we can get them all to fit under this one light. And it does have a range of about 2 by 2 feet, so that should be just enough room. Now we have a similar light. This is the Mars Hydro TS1000 over here, and this one is over the onion seedlings. So we've got 6 different varieties here. We've got the leeks here in the back, the Rosalunga tropea here in the front. These 2 were started later than the others, so they are a little bit skinnier looking, and I've also got them in a smaller container. But these are doing pretty good, and they'll need their first trim here in the next few days. And then we've got our Blush and Rosa di Milano. They are the oldest onion seeds. I think these are 2 or 3 years old. So you can see the germination is a little more sparse than the others, and that's because the seeds are older. And then our Red Carpet here and Sedona, you can see how much better the germination is compared to the other ones, and these are due for another trim. I think I've already trimmed these twice already this year, and I'll just keep trimming them until they go outside. All of the lights in the grow room are set on timers, and I've got it set to 16 hours on and 8 hours off. So they all just automatically turn off right around bedtime, and they turn back on around the time I get up. So here's the shelf with all of the seedlings we have so far, and they are under T8 shop lights. So I've got them raised up right now, but normally I'll keep them about 2 inches above the seedlings. And a lot of these weren't even started yet 2 weeks ago. So we've got a lot of new stuff going in the grow room. So the first thing we've got here, this is the cup and saucer Alba variety. This is a flower I've never grown before. Look how huge these cotyledon leaves are. I've got these little humidity domes over the cells that haven't germinated yet, so we might see some more come up. It does seem to be a little bit slow to germinate. I've got another variety still in the seed starting tray that hasn't had any come up yet. But this one here, it looks like the seed may be stuck to the leaf here, so I may have to try and do some surgery to try and remove that. And this tray is the only one that is on a heat mat. Everything else has no heat mat, and it's about 60 to 68 degrees in here. So this is where all the heat-loving things are. So this next couple trays are the peppers that I started. So we've got 3 Baquinos, and all these peppers were started in paper towels. And then once they germinated, I put them in these seed trays. And then this Beth Boyd orange Scotch bonnet, I just put those in the potting soil a couple days ago, so we aren't seeing those popping out of the soil just yet. This one looks like it might be just starting, but I'll keep these domes on until they start coming out of the soil, and then we'll take those off. And then these are my Tangerine Tiger crosses. We've got the one from Matsutake here. This one is from Batman, and then this one is from Rhiannon. So they all grew my cross last year and sent me seeds from the ones that they grew. So we'll see how different those are. And then we've got our basil. We've got 3 different varieties of basil. This is Thai basil, purple basil, and then this one is the regular sweet Genovese basil. And you can see I sowed a lot of seeds in each of these cells, and here in the next week or two, I'm going to be separating those out into individual cells. And then here we have our kales, and I just today thin these out because each of these cells had 2 or 3 seedlings in each one. So I separated those out so that each cell only has 1 seedling. So we've got our dazzling base note, dazzling blue, dazzling texture, and then this one is Willem's Blue Groninger. And the seedlings that I separated out here are actually back here in these 4 cell trays. So these are the ones that I thinned out from the other tray. All right, let's take a look at this one. Here's the arugula. So this one I still need to get these thinned out because each of these cells has 2 to 3. This one has actually 3. So I need to get these separated into their own cells here in the next day or 2. I might do that tonight. And then back here is the spinach, and I did just thin those out today as well. There was a couple seedlings in each one, but I just took those out, so there's 1 in each one. Now this tray here is the sea kale, which might end up making my fails list this season. We'll have to wait and see, but the seed packet did say that the germination is poor on these, so I think it said 10% or something, which is really pretty bad for any seed, and they weren't kidding because we had 5 seeds that we planted in each of these cells, and this one, none came up. This one came up, but it looks terrible. It looks like it might have actually split in half. I don't know if you can see that, but there's like 2 little stems poking out, and there's not really any leaves on them, so I'm not sure what's going on there. And then this one, only 1 came up, and if you can see, it's got like a loop here, and both ends are underground, and I'm not sure which end should be out of the soil. And then 2 came up in this one, but the leaves are just looking really terrible. So hopefully those will improve, and hopefully we'll be able to have some of these reach maturity. But I was hoping to add these to my front yard food forest, which really needs more food plants. So we'll have to wait and see how they look in a couple more weeks. We've got 1 more tray in the back there, and I'm going to pull that out so we can get a closer look at it. Now this is a 3-cell tray, and I've got a different variety of lettuce in each of the cells. This one here is the Oxheart Strawberry. This middle one I'm really excited about is called Morton's Secret Mix. I got the seeds from the Experimental Farm Network, and it's a mix of different lettuces, but I'm seeing a lot of variegated leaves in here, which is really pretty cool. And then the last one is an endive. Now the rest of these I think are flowers. We've got 3 different varieties of snapdragons here. This one is the Madame Butterfly Dark Red. Then we've got Madame Butterfly Bronze. And the last one is Sherbert Chantilly Mix. Now these 2 trays are chrysanthemums, and we had pretty poor germination. We've only got 3 here and 6 in that one, and the variety is called Fancy Pants. So I might actually start some more of these, we'll see, but I was hoping for more than that, but they're doing pretty good so far other than the poor germination. And then this one here is the Carnations. It's a Chabad La France variety, and we're starting to see some primary leaves coming out there, so I really need to get these separated and into their own cells because I'm sure the roots are probably getting pretty long on those. And then this one, these seedlings are super, super tiny. You could probably barely see those, but this is a Portulaca, which is also called Moss Rose. This is the first time I've grown these myself. This is something that my mom grows a lot of, but we're gonna hopefully have some more germinate. We'll see. I might start some more of those as well. And then this one here is the celery. So this is the pink celery, and we have not great germination, but it's still coming up, I think. And then this is the tango celery. That seed is a little bit older, and we just started seeing those come up in the last day or so. And then the only other seeds we have back here are the kale that I transplanted. And then we've got a tray here of parsley. We've got quite a bit of seedlings coming out there. And once those get a little bit bigger, I'll separate those out into individual cells as well. The last thing on the grow shelves is our seed germination tray. So these are all the seeds that I started in February that have not yet germinated. We've got the cup and saucer vine. This is the purple variety. So none of this variety have come up yet, so I'm not sure we're going to get any germination on that. I'm going to go ahead and leave it in here for a little while longer, but I may end up just tossing that out. And then we've got our Rudbeckia. This is a Cherokee Sunset variety. I grew this one, I think, 2 years ago and decided to grow it again this year. We don't have any germination yet, but I also started these seeds a little bit later than everything else, so it probably just needs a little bit more time. And then the last thing in here are a couple more peppers that I started. These are green varieties that I'm going to be using for making a hot sauce. We've got 7-pot mustard and mustard ghost. Those are both super hot varieties, so I'm looking forward to hopefully making a sauce out of those. Last thing to share is my seed starting table here. So these are the seeds that I plan to start in the next couple of weeks, so the first half of March. We've got our seeds for potatoes. These are called true potato seeds, and I did do a video last year on how to grow potatoes from seeds like this, which is always a lot of fun. And then we've got some greens. We've got a few different varieties of chard, Swiss chard. We've got yellow, peppermint, and this one is a mix. And then we've got some greens. These are Komatsuna Asian greens. This is the first time I've grown those. And then we've got our Mizuna purple Benihushi. I've grown those a couple times. And then we got some flowers. We have some white and pink dandelions. And then this one is a Scabiosa and some alyssum. And then we've got all of our annuum peppers. So these are all my sweet peppers and mild peppers that I'll be growing this year. I'm not going to go through all of these. I may have a separate video because I know some people want to know what varieties I'm going to be growing this year. So I probably will post another video showing all of the pepper varieties for this season. But that is it for now. I'll be posting another update here in another couple weeks. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you again soon. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. You can also find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.